Hi class, this is a special Tuesday night edition for a video. Shout out to Brian for requesting a video on this. Thanks so much, Brian, for testing your code. So what happened was Brian was running the Python chatbot code that I pushed out for your final project, and Windows was complaining that it was using an outdated API call, and indeed it was. So I found the same thing when I tried to update a deployed chatbot on Hugging Face Spaces. Hugging Face Spaces was saying chat complete is deprecated, and the new API actually uses it sounds very similar and can be easily confused, but this is the new call. It is chat.completions. I know it's really close, and sometimes chat completion will work and sometimes it won't, but whatever. Just start coding from right now with the latest instructions from the actual API that you're using. Okay, so we're going to use an OpenAI chat model here. Excuse me, an OpenAI large language models. It's, I don't know if GPT 3.5 Turbo is a chat model or not, but anyway, this should get that done. Okay, so what I've done here to get us started, I have created a .env file, and into that env file I have placed my API key, my OpenAI API key. This is important. You have to have OpenAI _API _key spelled out just like this, and then an equal sign. I wonder if this would work without that quote. Let's try it. I probably shouldn't be doing this on a live demo, but I'll try it there. Typically, I will put the double quote in there. All right, and then in app.py, the first thing we need to do is to pip install python.env and OpenAI. All right, so let's do that. Do that in terminal. Pip does a internet call. It uses the internet, so make sure you're online to do this. That looks good. Here is also, you can pip install upgrade OpenAI as well. Never a bad idea to do that. And okay, so I'm sure that was, I am using the latest OpenAI library. Okay, then Python code to use these. Import OpenAI. This one from a .env package. Import load.env. This is required because I have the OpenAI API key in a file named .env. So typically that's how it is done. We import OS, it stands for operating system. You do not need to pip install OS, it's just part of the standard Python library. All right, let's load those environments from the .env file with load.env. Retrieve the file from the environment variables. So notice this right here has to exactly match this, and it's not like if you change something, just make sure it matches. It has to be, this is important, it has to be OpenAI _API. If you don't do that, you're going to get a complaint about your program not having an API key. Okay, so I ran that, my code completed, so at least my syntax is correct. So let's go back and let's make our first API request. By the way, if you followed, if you open this yourself, you'll see that where this API documentation or this quick start documentation on the OpenAI API documentation, it talks about setting up your API for all projects, and then for a single project, this is what we're doing here. The .getignore file, don't worry about that now, but there is some code that is left out here. So I've included this code for here for you. So you need to, if you just copied all this code here, the only thing you'd have to do, and make sure that you have a .env file and you have your own API key in here as well, then that will work. Okay, so from OpenAI, import OpenAI. Let me see. I only have import OpenAI. So I'm going to copy this from that API example. See. There we go. From OpenAI. Why is it complaining about that? Oh, no big deal. And let me run that. All right, that's fine. Now let's do the completion. So again, client. So I created the client right here. This is the constructor. Now that you know what a constructor is, you can start using that word when you're coding. So let's just copy this straight from the API. So I do not want to hear anything about not being up to date. Well, who knows? OpenAI's API could be out of date, right? I mean, we can't control that. But anyway, I've just copied and pasted that here. And GPT 3.5 Turbo is fine. Just a word of caution: if you want to tinker around with GPT 4, you can. But boy, the Turbo or the token rate between that and ChatGPT 3.5 Turbo is crazy. So this is like 10 times, maybe probably more, less than that. So GPT 3.5 Turbo, when you're first learning how to code up your chatbots, I recommend that. So let's just take a look at this. So this is a method here, the create method. The create method here, it could be polymorphed, right? So it could have more than 2 parameters, but this example only has 2 parameters. The first parameter says model. In the model, you can't mess around with this because this code is from OpenAI's API, so it has to be just like this model. And then you have to give it 2 messages. The system message, this is like how you start your chatbot off. You are a wonderful assistant, but you are a wonderful Python professor. And you explain all things Python completely. Okay, so that's like this is a preamble. That's how I describe it. you can see that this is a dictionary, right? These are key value pairs. So a system, there's system, there's user, and there's assistant. So the user, this sometimes you might see this referred to as, human, and then the assistant might be, I don't know, chatbot or something. But system, this is important. You can't mess with this. You can't mess with user either. And then you can't mess. The only thing you can change here is the content, right? And so what do we want to do? We want to teach me about lists. And write sample code. All right. I already have an idea for version 2, but let's just get this working, okay? So, yeah, that's it. Oh, and then the completion dot choices. This is the first message. We can try to see what would happen. Usually there's at least a couple different responses. I can show you that. Let me just make sure that this runs. But this typically the first, the 0 here, this is, zero based indexed for this list here, right? This is actually a Python list here, and it's saying apply the message method to this first response. That's what this is saying. So what this should do is this should output something, right? So let's run this, and it's sure taking a long time. Okay, great. So look what it gave us. Here is the message. Content equals, oh, look, listen Python or versatile and fundamental data structure, user story collection, blah, 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 blah. Output. Wow. Now, the output is hard to read, but here's the thing. Our chatbot run. So this is version 1. Get this code running. If I have it in me tonight, I will add on to this program, and I will show you how to use the Streamlit app. All right, but I'm going to stop this video now. So I promised Brian a video, and hopefully I've delivered a video. And Brian, please code this up and send me some good news like your program runs, okay? And paka everyone. I'll work on the next video, like I say, if I have some energy left tonight.